welcome back to Quick Daily Ministry with Devin today. This is number 13. Number 13, that is very crazy. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. It is number 12. I'm so sorry. We are in Genesis chapter 32 all the way through Genesis chapter 36. And I'm so blessed to have you here today. Alright, so, well, Genesis 35, actually. Alright, so today, it's going to be really short, but, you'll know it, so where am I? Alright, so Jacob sent his gifts to Esau. Jacob was starting his way back home, and then the angels of God came to meet with him, and when Jacob saw them, he exclaimed, "This is God's camp," so he named the place. He named it a place. And then Jacob sent messengers ahead to his brother, and then guess what? He was super scared of his brother. He was like, dude, if Esau meets one of my groups and attacks it, perhaps the other group can escape. So Jacob stayed. He was super scared, so Jacob stayed where he was at for the night. And then he selected these gifts from his possessions to present to his brother Esau: 200 female goats, 20 male goats, 200 ewes, 20 rams, 30 female camels with their young. They were young. 40 cows, 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys, and 10 male donkeys. He divided these animals into herds and assigned them each to different servants. Could you just close it? Alright, I'm so sorry for that. He gave instructions to each man, telling them all this stuff to do. And then Esau finally saw, oh no, hold on, let's see where we at. I think we're at the right. Alright, so that night Jacob got up and took his wives, 2 servants' wives, and 11 sons, and crossed the Jabbok, I think Jabbok or Jabbok, a river, with them. After talking them to the other side, he sent them all over with his possessions. And then Jacob was all alone in the camp. The man came and wrestled with him until the dawn began. And then the man saw that he would not win the match, so he touched Jacob's head and wrenched it out of the sock. And then he said, "Let go of me, for the dawn is breaking." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." "What is your name?" the man asked. Jacob replied, "I'm Jacob." Well, he said, "Jacob, your name will no longer be Jacob." The man told him, "From now on you will be called Israel, because you have fought with God and with men, and you have won." And then Jacob said, "Please tell me your name." "Why do you want to know my name, man?" The man replied. Then he blessed Jacob there. And then Jacob named the place Peniel, which means face of God, for he said, I have seen God's face to face, yet my life has been spared." And that's a super good verse. You might want to note this down. This might be one of my favorite verses. God has been very gracious to me. I have more than enough. That is Genesis chapter 33, verse 11, if you want to write that down somewhere. I'll say it again for the one more time. God has been very gracious to me. I have more than enough. So with God's love, it's just freaking over. It's not just enough. It's everything, It's like getting spoiled at that point. But Jacob looked up and saw Esau coming with 400 men, so divided his children among Leah, Rachel, and his 2 servants' wives, and he put them all together at the front. And then Jacob went ahead to approach his brother. He bowed to the ground 7 times before him. Esau ran to meet him and embraced him, threw his arms around his neck, and kissed him. And they both wept. Then Esau looked at his women and children and asked, "Who are these people with you?" He said, "These are the children of God that's been given to me." And all this stuff, he told him all these flocks were for him and all this stuff. And then Esau said, "All right, but at least let me assign some of my men to guide and protect you." Jacob responded, "That's not necessary. It's enough that you received me warmly, my lord." So Esau turned around and started back to Seir that same day. Remember, Jacob is the younger brother. Esau is the older brother. Jacob stole Esau's blessings, so that's why he was super scared. So, alright, so later that day, they traveled, all this stuff. One day, Dinah, the daughter of Jacob and Leah, that is the oldest sister with Rachel, the older one that he had to work an extra 7 years for. That's their daughter, Dinah. She was I think their only daughter. And what is it called? The local prince found her. and saw Denia, and guess what? He seized her, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna just do that look. But then he fell in love with her and tried to win her over with affection and tender words. He said to his father, Harmer, give me this young girl. I want to marry her. Soon Jacob heard that, the prince had defiled his daughter, Denia, but since his sons were out returning the field, he said nothing until they returned. They told him, he said, the king tried to talk to him to Jacob and said, my son, the prince, is truly in love with your daughters. He said, please let him marry her. In fact, we'll arrange other marriages too. You give us your daughters for our sons, and we'll give you our daughters for your sons. And then he said, please be kind to me and let me marry her. That's what the prince said, the one that did the thing. I'll give you whatever you ask, no matter what dowry give you demand, and I'll gladly pay it back. Just give me give me your girl as your wife. As my wife. They said that we couldn't possibly allow this because you're not circumcised. Remember, God told everyone to get circumcised, passed down generation to generation ever since Abraham. Abram, the original name was Abram. If you didn't know, Abraham's original name was Abram. So they said it was going to be a disgrace because, everyone had to get circumcised in there. See, they said, then we'll give you our daughters, and we'll take your daughters for ourselves, and we'll live among you and all this stuff. And they agreed, and they all got circumcised. So they all agreed. But 3 days later, when they were fully sore, two of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, they were Denia's little brothers, the girl that got defiled. They slaughtered every male there, including the king and the prince that defiled her, and returned to the camp. Jacob found out and said to Simeon and Levi, he didn't even order this attack. He said, you have ruined me. You have made me stink among all the people of this land, among all the Kenites, I think, and the Perizzites, I think. We are so fueled that they'll join forces and crush us, and I'll be ruined, and my entire household will be wiped out. And then God told Jacob to get ready and move to Bethel, and we'll settle there, build an altar there to God who appeared to you when you fled from your brother Esau. So they did all this stuff, and then they finally get there. Now that Jacob had returned, God appeared to him at Bethel, and God blessed him, saying, your name is Jacob, but you will not be called Jacob any longer. From now your name is Israel. So God renamed him Israel. And then God said, I am El Shaddidi. Hold on, I don't want to disrespect freak. Let me make sure I'm saying it right, because I am not disrespecting God today. Great, this is turned off. That just makes so much sense, huh? Right. Give me 1 second. Come on. Freak. Switch. Give me 1 second. Oh my goodness. El Shaddai. It means God Almighty. That's all I'm gonna say. ELSHADDAI. That's God's name. One of God's names. It means God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. You'll become a great nation. Even many nations. Kings will be among you, your descendants, and I'll give you more land than I did for Abraham and Isaac. Imagine that. And then there was the death of Rachel. She had a baby boy, but it was super painful. But with her last breath, she named her baby Benoi, which means son of sorrow. But the baby's father, however, called him Benjamin. So that's super tough, but at least she still got to see her last child, her son, and named him. So that's the end of it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to make sure I get God's name right before this video ends. Why don't I just look it up through here? Where's it at? Where is it? Dude, I just love how everything goes off, you know? Everything goes off whenever I want to do a video. And then you got noises like that. To say, Shadidi. Oh, it's El Shaddai. I am so sorry. But that is God's name. That's how you pronounce it. I'm so sorry if that was an extra time, but I wanted to make sure we all knew how to say his name right. It is El Shaddai. That means God Almighty. I hope you enjoyed this quick summary with Devin, quick daily ministry, and I hope you have a blessed one. Peace.